Hello, guys. Has anyone ever told you that your RBF game is serious? I get it all the time. Or when you walk in somewhere and someone's like, hey, what's wrong with you? Again, all the time. And I'm like, I didn't even say anything to you. Why are you even asking me that? And then I think to myself, what is my face saying? Should I just walk in smiling like, hey, it's a party every single day? But then I'm like, I don't know. Do I have the right facial expression? I don't know. Do any of us know? How are we non-verbally communicating? We don't always know. There are ways that we non-verbally communicate. Hand gestures, which I do all the time. Eye contact, body language, our appearance, our tone, and touch. Those are all things that play a major factor in the way we communicate. What studies have shown is that we non-verbally communicate just as much as we verbally communicate. We can use intentional forms of nonverbal communication or unintentional forms of communication. Intentional forms of communication are when someone comes up to you and you're having a conversation, and let's say they tell you just awesome news, and you're like, and you're smiling, and your vibe is coming off the way you want it to be, and you're like, just awesome. Everything's rocking. It's great. You know, your face is just lighted up. You guys are so happy. You don't even have to use words to celebrate. Those types of responses are what you're looking for as far as nonverbal. Does it always happen? No, and that's when it's unintentional. Let's say someone's coming up to you. They tell you a piece of information that you don't want to hear. But you can't just spit out negativity on the floor. And this happens to me all the time. So someone's going to, let's say a nurse, says something to me. And I'm just like, so I'm always shaking my head. And then the eyebrow goes up. So she's not going to be able to receive the information I want to give her as if the information she's giving me is correct or I agree, because I'm shaking my head yes and my eyebrows up in the air. What's that telling her? It's telling her I don't agree with what she's saying, or I'm not interested in the message that she's relaying to me, or I think she's a moron, or it could be in any one of those factors. I mean, I can seriously admit that I do this all the time. Oh, sorry. Kitty. So, yeah, we do. I shake my head all the time. And I've seen people do it at least 50% when they're non-verbally communicating. We go like this. Are we even listening? We don't know. We just do it. Sometimes there's an mm-hmm with it, which is the verbal piece of communication, but more often than not, we're just like, sometimes our eyebrows are up like they're being intrigued, or one up and one down. I can't really do it. Or you have that, which is totally, I don't agree with what you're saying. But how does this affect us in the workplace if all of us are just sitting there like this? Is anything getting resolved? No. Are we really aware of what our bodies are doing and the language that we're using that's nonverbal? Maybe sometimes. Would it be more effective if we did use or become more aware of our body language? Probably. Would it be better if we walked in the morning and maybe we're a little bit brighter? Like, yeah, because they always want you to smile. They always want you to be, happy. So everyone perceives that as happy because it's easier to work with a happy person. In the workplace, with nonverbal communication, what a lot of people tend to focus on is mismatched communication, because that's what ends up affecting your productivity. And what's going to happen is, like I said in the beginning, I walk in, you look at me, and you're like, I'm not talking to her because it looks like something's wrong with her today. Or, looks like something's wrong with her. I'm going to go tell Mary, don't talk to Michelle. She looks like she's having a bad day. Now, all these things are going around me. No one's talking to me because they think I'm having a bad day. No one has come up to me and even asked me if my nonverbal presentation is even correct. Are you having a bad day? Are you feeling okay? Is the vibe that you're giving off negative? What's happening? There's a barrier. There's no communication, whether it's nonverbal or verbal. We have no communication. So in the workplace, it's like a ripple. No one's going to be talking to each other. No one feels comfortable talking to each other. The way I came off in the morning has already caused a problem. Instead of someone just coming up to me and say, hey, you don't look so good. Is there anything you want to talk about? And then me saying, I'm all right. I'm fine. Maybe I just have to work on the way I express myself. Is there anything that you need this morning? That's mismatched communication. And it happens so much that it's actually a big, huge topic in the workforce, with leaders and everywhere, leaders and everywhere coming together to make these forums to work on this. So people have enough confidence maybe to kind of reword things like, hey, I see you're, not looking so good. Is there something you want to talk about? Instead of everyone going around the table and saying, God, she looks like she's got a lot of crap on her plate today. Let's just leave her alone. We need to have some form of verbal communication. And the people like myself who communicate non-verbally need to work on how to communicate more verbally. Another great form of nonverbal communication is eye contact. And what's great about eye contact is you can say hello to someone with your eyes, like, hey, what's up? Just by looking at them. Look at them. We all do this. Give a nod. That's the new thing. Well, not really new, but, my generation uses it. My kids' generation uses it. We pretty much all use it. I don't even have to say hello to anyone anymore. I'm just like, keep it moving. But I was just reading something on like nonverbal communication with eye contact, because when we were younger, do you remember our parents saying you need to look somebody in the eye and then they'll just believe everything you say? Well, this is the new times. People are not the same. Yes, I'm looking at you. I'm opening up the dialect. We're communicating. I'm acknowledging what you're saying. I'm aware of what you're saying. We're creating a connection. But there's a huge misconception now. Just because we are creating eye contact, I'm receiving your information, I'm letting you know that. I'm listening to what you're saying, but just because we are making eye contact does not mean that what you're saying to me is the truth. It used to be like that. It used to be like, when somebody looks you in the eye, they're telling the truth. Honey, this is a new day. They can look you dead in the eye and be telling you a lie. As a leader, it's my job to know my staff. And you're going to have staff members that can look you in the eye, manipulate you, all that stuff. Just like my 18-year-old son can look me dead in the eye and tell me he did his homework, and then I get something that says I'm missing 10 assignments. You look me in the eye. So? Well, that's his nonverbal communication right there. Do I trust it? No, I'm not trusting that nonverbal communication anymore because he's lying. So I'm just saying that piece of information. Be receptive to it. Don't trust it like we used to. Just like the handshake. Hey, how you doing? Shake your hand. Open up the dialogue. Hug it out. Again, One thing we used to be warm, open to. This is a new world. Things are not the same anymore. We have to become experts on reading each other's body language, facial expressions, attire. It's 50% the way we speak and 50% the way we carry ourselves. That is what's happening today. We need to pay attention to both. We can't just rely on what someone is saying. We have to rely on what they are presenting, what they are doing. This is a new era. Reading up on this topic shed definitely some new light, especially when you're in an older generation and you're coming to lead on a newer generation. A lot of newer generation, the new generation population does have a lot of nonverbal communication. I mean, a lot of the things they do now is through technology, so they are communicating less nonverbally. A lot of it's through text, a lot of it's through email, a lot of it is through all these different applications that they use. So it's harder to understand them. And that's something we have to look at. A lot of the times we're going to say to the younger kids, hey, how you doing? What's going on? And we're not going to get a response. Fine. I mean, any parent can understand that. Hey, how are you? Fine. Everything is fine. We're going to have to watch them closely. Watch our peers, watch our teammates. Look for things that are out of the ordinary to make our teams work. And that's what's important. And maybe if someone does have a serious RBF or comes in the morning and you say, how are you doing? And they look like they've been through hell. Maybe they have been through hell. Maybe we need to pull them aside and be adults and say, listen, you don't look good. Even if you tell me that nothing's wrong, I just need to let you know that I'm here. If you feel like skipping the 30-minute meeting today, that's fine. I'll fill you in. Don't go around the whole office telling them, she looks like she's had a bad day. We'll just leave her out. No, that's including the person. We want to make everyone feel included. We need to have seminars on body language and how, we carry ourselves. Body language can be positive. I was just told that. So because I talk with my hands and because I talk with my body, I want most of my teammates and the younger nurses that I lead to feel welcomed. I could give a lot of hugs. I could touch, pat on the back. And maybe if I don't agree with something, I'm going to stop doing that one. And I'm just going to say, that's not the right answer. Let's go over let's go over what we could do better. So body language can be many different things. But we can fix our RBF. We can come in the morning, maybe fix our faces a little bit before we come in. Try to not give those mix match signals. And again, let's observe this newer generation, give them some credit, make ourselves more open, and go from there. And I hope everyone has a great semester off.